drone here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that intro. Tried to kind of lead into this because I thought this was pretty epic. Basically what I have going on is a trail cam on our Bugs 3. You've seen the results in the intro. We are going to kind of basically fly this the way I did. I didn't even have a hat cam on. So we are going to see the perspective of the drone flying in its surroundings, which I've already got compliments on Facebook on Drone Days on MJX Bugs RC and the Jumper group, because I was flying this drone with the Jumper Plus with the updated DFU file from the guys at Deviation. Big round of applause for them for cracking it and actually making a usable DFU file that we can fly with our jumpers because we have precision control. Mr. Peter ALS Ford, Alsford, maybe? Peter Alsford had said on the Potensic A20 drone flight review, where I was using a really small drone in extreme wind, which I shouldn't have been doing. But it was just to prove a point. It's going to be excellent without wind and indoors. But anyway, Mr. Peter said he would like to see the Bugs 3 flown in wind. Bam, Zo! Did I nail it? You can see the Bugs 3. It is windy, and this is having zero issues with the rig that I have set up. This was challenging. I've seen this done before, but I've seen it to the point where I didn't like the results. I've seen it where you're basically getting this result, but you're also getting a line extending out the back to the camera, which I thought looked really, really tacky. So this was a challenge for me to do. I've been thinking about doing this for probably over a half a year, how to do it, what type of setup that I'd need, and I think I've achieved it. I think I've achieved a seamless mark here where you can only see the drone. You can't see my setup, you can't see my rig or anything, and I think the effect came out really good. I showed one of my friends the Fly in Jersey. Check his YouTube channel out. I showed it to him, the clip that I posted on Facebook, and he said, dude, it looks like you're basically just running around with the drone, but clearly you can see I'm not just running around with the drone as we continue to raise in altitude and drop in altitude and fly towards myself and whatnot. The rig that I set up was thought-wise, it was difficult. It was something that I had to completely wrap around my head, and I didn't go out and buy anything. I didn't go out and buy anything. As you can see on the top, you can see over the top of the Bugs a little bit of tape, electrical tape and Scotch tape. And one piece of double-sided tape is what's holding this basically all together. I didn't fabricate anything really as far as the traditional term of fabrication going. As you can see, it was lightly bucking backwards because you have a drone that's pretty much aerodynamic and cuts through the wind, and then the setup on the back isn't so aerodynamic. So as we were going faster, more wind is kind of blowing into the camera setup. So that's what that little bucking was about. But all in all, guys, I got a good flight time. What I used for my rig was not that heavy. Ideally, what I did would be super simple to do with wood. Flat plane of wood back, and then raise it up to the perspective that you would need to, because that's definitely how you're going to get this. A lot of you might not know what I'm talking about. If there's a high interest level, let me know down below. If you want to see a how-to video on this, I'll show you my rig. I'll show you the setup. I'll show you how I did it. It was really, really simple. And again, it was just stuff that I had around my house. And the response that I've got from people is that's pretty epic. I mean, even the picture, right there, pause, freeze frame if you want to. The drone itself with the landscape, and even as we climb in altitude with the houses down below, it's a pretty epic picture that you wouldn't be able to get unless you got really close to this drone in flight, say with a GPS drone or something else that you can get FPV and get excellent quality. The camera that I am using is the $20 Cube camera that I told you guys to go out and buy months ago. I told you to go grab 2 or 3 of them months ago, and it's the same Cube camera that I showed you how to also run 5.8 gigahertz off of it. Dope camera, super lightweight camera. So again, my entire setup here does not weigh much. Is it centered to the drone? Absolutely not. It's hanging off the back end of the drone. And the drone handled really well to the point where it didn't bat an eye, besides, again, going fast in the wind. We're going to kind of do a little head hunt here. Little head hunt on J-Drone, as you can see right there. I don't know if you were able to see the controller. I am using the Jumper Plus controller, the yellow controller with the Hall gimbals with the OLED display. let's clear some of that up too, because some people in drone days had minor issues and thoughts. The T12 from Jumper is running on OpenTX. If you don't know OpenTX or Deviation, I suggest you go with a T8SG, just because the T8SG, I believe, is more user friendly. I didn't know either of them before I got started with the Jumpers. T8SG is very user friendly. I have a lot of stuff on it. I can help you out with it. The OpenTX, I can limp myself around. So you have the black and silver T8SG, you have the T8SG V2, and you have the Plus, which I'm using. The light, however, which I also have a video or two on that as well, the light is limited. It is light on protocols. If you can remember that, the light is limited. Bam, there's that view I was talking about. That's pretty epic view. The light is limited on protocols, where it's going to have more of your main hobby protocols, and it also has your XK protocols. So it's going to be very limited, basically a beginner startup for having a hobby grade controller, or for that pro that wants a super small controller that's going to connect to some of this hobby grade stuff. That's what the light's for, just so you guys understand it. And this was excellent. Right now, we are recording in 720p. We are going to set this down. I'm going to reset it, and we are going to record in 1080p. I will put a link for this camera that I used, Bamzo, and we're already up. The little sit down and up was almost seamless, and the way it's seamless is because the camera's positioned in a way that the drone's always going to remain at the bottom part of the screen. So in transitions like that intro where I was jumping from different scenes, it was pretty seamless. The front part, the view changed, but where the drone was didn't change. But I will, like I was about ready to say before, I rudely interrupted myself. Shame on you, J-Drone. The camera that I used, I will put down below. If you guys want to check it out, definitely check it out. I'll throw a link down below. I don't know if it's going to be the cheapest link, but I'll put a link down below. I think you can get these still for about $20. I know some people are selling them more than $20. You shouldn't really pay more than $20 for this. Although it's worth more than $20, but it can be had for $20. Look at the view. Look at the view. Look at the bugs flying. Look at the blades turning. Look at the view. I got exactly what I wanted to out of this, and it took some time, basically setting the camera, resetting the camera, setting the camera, resetting the camera, popping the SD card out, putting the SD card in the computer, resetting, etc., 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 until I finally got what you are seeing. Until I finally got this drone, plain and simple, at the bottom, and we're able to see everything around it. Again, guys, if you want to know how I did this, if you want to get a perspective on how I did this, so maybe you can go out and do this, by all means, type below, J-Drone, show us, we're interested, etc., etc. If there's a huge pouring of input that wants to see the video on what I have going on here, I absolutely will make the video for you, because again, this video is being made essentially for Peter Alsford. Hopefully I'm saying your last name right, because he said, like to see Bugs 3 in wind again. Bamzo, you see Bugs 3, you can't really get a juncture on how windy it is, because I have the volume from the camera turned down, that way you could hear me jabberjawing. But this video was made for one of you guys. This video was made because somebody said, hey, I want to see the Bugs 3 in flight, and you can literally see the Bugs 3 in flight this entire video, and this was a new perspective on it. This was a new twist on it. And there's a little funnel action. This was a little bit brain conjuring of myself. I'm always doing new videos. I'm always doing unboxing. I'm always throwing new drones at you. But the Bugs series has been in my lineup for a long time, and this was just getting back to basics. This was putting a twist on a great drone. I'm J-Drone. If you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button. Questions, comments, concerns down below. Get at me.